Hello and welcome to this second tutorial on how to create grass in Blender. If you've already seen my first tutorial, you'll know how you can create grass in Blender using meshes, so how you can create models in Blender and then use a particle effect and apply those to a plane to create a grassy field. And that knowledge you can then make all sorts of vegetation and use those as the particles instead of the grass. There is a second way to create grass in Blender, and that's what we're going to look at today, and that's using the hair particle effect rather than the emitter. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a plane and I'm going to scale that up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my particle effect on the right hand side here by clicking the 4 yellow dots, which is the particle effects, and adding a new particle effect to it. I'm going to switch it to the hair emitter this time, and we'll see straight away all this hair appears. And it's a bit too long at the moment for what we need. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn the hair length down to a more manageable level. There we go. So we can see here we've got a simple plane with all these hairs coming out of it, and that's the particle effect. If we go into the advanced settings, turn the advanced settings on, we can scroll down, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add more children to it. So go to the children tab and choose interpolated, and that increases the number of children. And we can see here it's increased it by a factor of 10 for my display and a factor of 100 for my render. So if I turn my display up to 100, we'll see, whoa, that's a lot. We'll turn it back down to 10 for my display so it's not too much. So we've got a lot of grass there. Next thing we need to do is, in your particle settings, scroll up, and we're going to have a look at the physics tab. Now the physics tab, you should be able to see that. If you can't see it, then what that means is that you've not got your advanced settings ticked at the top here. So if I untick advanced, you'll see that the physics tab and the velocity tab, they only appear when we turn advanced hair particle editing on. If we go into the physics tab, we can do some interesting things. So we're going to stay with Newtonian physics, and we're going to use Brownian force here, and we're going to increase that. And you'll see when we click and drag on the Brownian force and drag it over, we'll see that the hairs start to act slightly differently, almost as if a force is being pushed down on them or pulling them down as gravity is towards the ground. So I'm going to increase my Brownian force, and that gives it a bit more of a realistic kind of look. Before, the hairs, which are going to be our grass, when it's on 0, they're all standing straight up, but we don't want that. So increase your Brownian force to add a bit more of an interesting look to it. I'm going to drag over the random size ever so slightly as well. Close down my physics tab now, and I'm going to go back into children. I'm going to clump my grass together in groups by using the clumps drag settings. I'm going to drag that over only ever so slightly. There we go, let's clump them together a bit more. You can see if I did it quite a lot, we'll see what effect it has there. And we don't want to do it too much. I'm going to increase the uniformity. I'm going to change that so they're not all the same. And the shape, I'm going to move that over. And I'm going to increase the random settings as well to add an element of randomness. So let's have a look how this is looking so far if I zoom in. And let's go to, first of all, let's add a material to it. So go to your materials tab, click new, and I'll just add a very, very simple, it's not going to look like grass with the material, but add a simple green material to it. And I'm also going to turn on ambient occlusion so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, that's looking okay. It's not looking too bad, our grass. And we can see the effect of it a lot quicker than when we modelled with our mesh. Another plus point with using the hair modifier, the hair particle effect, sorry, to make grass, is up the top we see my poly count hasn't increased dramatically by doing this, which is good. Let's come back out of our settings now. Let's look at it from a more ground level and turn the render settings on. One problem we've got at the moment is we can see that at the top the grass looks very grassy, but as it gets down towards the bottom it's definitely like hair. It's kind of got thick roots. Let's go back into the particle effects, and if we scroll down in the particle effects all the way to where it says cycles hair settings right at the bottom, we can see there's some thickness options here. We've got the root, the tip and the scaling. I'm going to turn the roots down to 0.04, so it's not much smaller than the tip. A bit too small. Let's try 0.1. That's better. And if we wait a minute for this to render, we should see that now our grass looks a bit more grass-like. Perfect. We can see now the roots are a lot thinner than they were. It does make it more realistic. So let's zoom in and have a look at how that's looking. So we can see very quickly, it's only been a matter of a couple of minutes and we're already creating kind of a grassy field here. Now, let's go back into our materials, and I'm going to make another material here. I'm just going to make a dark brown material for the floor. And I'm going to go into my edit settings, go into solid, and I'm just going to assign that to the plane. Come back into object mode. I'm going to make my floor brown now. There we go. And let's have a little play. Let's increase the amount of hairs. So amount of grass. Let's go back into our children, and let's increase the display up to 100. So we'll see what it looks like if we were to render this image out now. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking very good. Another couple of cool settings, if we come out of this, that we can quickly and easily play around with are down the bottom under children again. We've got a kink effect that adds a certain kink to the way that the grass is displayed. So at the minute the kink's on nothing. If we turn it to curl, we can see it looks a bit more windswept there. Radial spins it round a little bit. The wave effect, braid effect, and spiral effect. So I'm going to turn curl on, and let's have a look, see how that's looking now. Okay, thanks for watching. As you can see, using hairs to create a grass effect is quick, easy, it gives you a lower polygon count than doing it with a mesh, and whilst it might not be as creative a process and give you all the options that creating your grass out of mesh or your foliage out of mesh does, it is a quick and easy and realistic solution to creating grass in your Blender levels. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing your work.